What's going on, guys? Cody from Motorcycle MD. Bring you guys a video where I'm not going to be really teaching anything. Instead, we will dive into a project that I've been working on for way too long together. Like many of the projects that I have, like the CB350, I also do carb cleans on the side, as well as try to shoot some of them to make a course for you guys to follow. Like for instance, this GL1200 course that I'm going through right now, and just take up lots of time, lots of space to try to explain everything. But I have lots of projects. Like no one ever said ever, why have one project when you can have 10? I could pretty much tattoo that on my forehead at any moment. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. We do videos on motorcycle repair, maintenance, service, all different types of things. And if you want to learn more about how to repair and maintenance your bike, I have a free course for you to take. In the description or in a card that will pop out here, it's a free course. Learn how to do all types of things on your bike. It's a course of about 40 plus videos that me and my buddy Matt over at How to Motorcycle Repair put together just for free for you guys to have. But in this video, as regards to what we're going to be doing, I'm just going to be working on this bike. This is what I believe at this point is a 76 KZ400. And yes, that is Kawasaki. For sure, Kawasaki. And I've never worked on one of these bikes before. In fact, to date, this is probably one of the most confusing model generation mix-ups between the KZ400 and the 440 I've ever seen. They made so many different versions of this bike, and honestly, there's not a lot of information out there on them. So I've had to spend hours and days just trying to order a single part for a single caliper or a gasket for a side cover, just to order it, receive it, and realize it's the wrong one, to send it back and rinse and repeat. It's been pretty annoying. But this project was taken on from a local guy who trusted me to build him a bike that he can enjoy, some kind of different style that he wanted when it comes to a tracker, kind of Mad Maxy, raw metal looking bike. And I took it on, and it was in pretty bad shape. It actually still is in worse shape now that I've taken it all apart to fix things. And it pretty much needs it all. Brake rebuilds, exhaust, tires, suspension, clutch stuff, fluids. The harness was completely attacked by some maniac who put house switches in it. It had no lights besides a tail light on it. It did have some gauges, had some bars, all the switches were mangled. It was a mess. So like I said, I'm just going to be working on the bike. I have no real lessons to give. I'm probably just going to be learning right alongside of you as we just kind of button this thing back together to get it to start. I do know it has great compression. I just put a brand new clutch in it because it was stuck as an assembly. And I am going with, I think, a VM30 carb setup on these, because I heard from the interwebs that these carburetors factory on these bikes were absolutely garbage and you could never really get them to tune right. Which, me being a little prideful, I think I may be able to do it. But why do that when I can get something that's super easy to work on, like a set of VM30s? So the goal today would be just to button the side cover back up, get the points and ignition set right, maybe grab two carburetors, throw some parts together inside of them, maybe button the exhaust up, and get this thing to fire. I don't know how long this video will be. Don't want to kill too much of your guys' time. But I need to work on it, so I decided to just step away from instructional A, B, and C videos just for a short time to get some work done. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content, and like the video if you did like it. I have no idea where this video is going to end up. This is kind of a secrecy build. I don't want to show too much of the bike as far as what I plan on doing with color scheme or seats and that kind of stuff, because the owner may actually watch this video, and I want it to be somewhat of a surprise when he does see it. But let's dive in. So pretty interesting chain drive primary. You don't see that too often. Not on a twin cylinder, at least not from Honda. We did put in brand new clutch packs in this, steel and friction plates. Anytime you are going in after a clutch, whether you smoked it, it's stuck, whatever, you can try to clean up the steel plates. I would just recommend replacing them. But if you smoke the clutch out, just replace both steel and friction. I hear way too often people buy these Barnett clutches or EBC clutches and they don't come with steel plates, so they just use their old steel plates, and then they have the kind of the same problem when it comes to clutch free play and it kind of feeling like you can't get the free play out of the clutch system. But we gotta get this silicone gasket stuff off. Trying to avoid any of it going all over the motor. Trying to flip over a frisbee. You'll figure it out. Let your kids learn, you know? I don't know. I don't have any kids. Alright, now we gotta make sure all this stuff is blown out of this case. I'm not gonna do it around here, obviously, but I'm gonna blow this all out. I think I got the most of it. Went ahead and put some grease on that seal there. Probably put a little molly right there for this shaft that spins in the case. Try to clean up the glass as much as I could. Took this out, this little chain guide out, which rests on the bottom. Took it off and hit it with some contact cleaner just to spray that little glass out so it's nice and clear. Otherwise the case is in, or the cover's in really great shape. Like I said, I'm gonna put a little bit of molly right here. Thanks, might be a little bit too much, but that's fine. Metal on metal. That molly likes to hang out and stay in one spot. Now, age-old question when it comes to sealant and stuff like that, guys. If the manual never calls for it, then you don't need it. Most gaskets don't need it. A lot of times the oil will help seal into the case itself. I sometimes use it, sometimes don't. There's no real preference. On older stuff I like to use it. Nowadays the cases are machined so nice and the tolerances are so close that sometimes they run no gaskets, they just run sealants on them. On these older ones, I'm just going to use a little bit of some semi-dry Honda Bond 4 just to help it out a little bit. Like on these case mating spots right here, that would be ideal. But any amount that I do use is going to be paper thin. So I believe I got the right gaskets. I already ordered one, and it was the wrong one. Manila folder. Second manila folder. Shout out to Gasketing Incorporated. KZ400, 74 through 77. I ordered a 76 400 gasket, and it was the wrong one because this dowel pin was like off. It was stupid. So this should go like that. And dowel pin there. Yes, dowel pin there. Well done, Gasket King. Well done. Thin coat right here where those cases meet. Kind of thin it out. And one over here. Let's get that bit out. Like that. It's a little bit and it's kind of thin it. Sweet. That will help hold the gasket in there and there. If the gasket seems to hang down like that, you can put it wherever you want to hold it. You're not hurting anything. So I might put a little bit more up top. Real thin. Sweet. So I got this pile of screws. And it's not difficult to find out where they all live, because they all stick out at a certain length. Like that's really far out there. And that one's obviously, that's usually the correct length right there. But, so we can just keep chasing these around. That looks good right there. That looks good. They should all be pretty much even. I believe these are all number 3s. Yeah, number 3 Phillips. Alright, so what I like to do from here is I'll lock these all in by hand. Number 3 Phillips, just to get them all pretty much in the same spot. And I'll grab my impact driver, this guy right here, and I'll lock them in. These impact drivers work both ways. If I want them to turn or torque it in, turn it to the right. If I want to loosen it, you back it to the left. And when you hit this, it turns that Phillips head just ever so slightly. So I'll just give these all one lock. Alright, so this point plate, single point, twin cylinder. Very interesting. Sitting there like that. Alright, there's our point of contact. Bink, bink, bink. And then we have this guy, advancer unit. Has that backing plate right there. There's the notch cut out. So I don't know if I just threw the timing off of this because it has that notch, so I'll have to look in the manual for it. So that's going to go in there like that, indubitably. This is going to run to the center. It locks there. So what I need to figure out is on this advancer unit, there's a little line right there. I need to figure out, obviously this only goes one way like that, onto that pin right back there. But if I took this out like that, I can spin this 90 degrees and then go back in, and now it's down there. So, because you can screw that up, what we're gonna do is if I were to spin this around and line this T up, it would be like that, which would take that notch and throw it, let's see. See, that doesn't line up with anything. I was hoping that would line either straight up and down or something like that. This is the cam right here, so the point is opening and closing as this spins. The larger end of this cam, this being the cam, is over here. This is the shorter side. It's kind of like right to the right of that. So we're just gonna wing it, okay? I think this is how it was set up when I got it. This is about 20 foot-pounds on this bolt here. I'm gonna put a little bit of some Loctite on it. I'm going to come back through and torque this stuff down. Did not bring my torque wrench home, so don't at me. This is going to sit, here's our window. That gasket's going to go there. And we'll have to, because like I said, that like that line's on the shallow part. When the loop comes around, it will open the point. So if it's not aligned with the firework, then we're going to have to flip it. That's how we'll know. We'll have to do a static timing scenario. We'll just lock this in for now. Alright, we gotta get a battery in this thing, and then we'll see if we can't hook up some kind of LED. I believe I do have power going in the coils and all that stuff, so we'll have to mess with it, and just like we did on the 350, and get this thing timed in how it should be. So your power cable, if you have a starter relay, starter system, just a quick tip, your power cable is always going to go directly to your starter solenoid first, and the ground's going to go to body ground. So if like this, it's kind of hard to tell which one's which. That, I guess, is red, and that's black. So they both kind of look black to me. This one has a red power coming off it as well. But, quick reference, trying to find a power cable real quick. It goes straight to my starter solenoid, so I know this is my power, which is great because my 350 battery fits. Whenever you're installing batteries, when you're putting them in, you're adding to the battery. You're adding a cable to the battery. So start with the positive side first. When you're taking the battery out, removing it, you're removing from the battery, so you start with the negative power out. You can already see this battery is starting to calcify. It's old. But just a quick tip on that as well. When you're putting on cables, taking them off, you're adding, you go add first. When you're subtracting, you subtract first. That will eliminate sparkage. Not that it really matters too much, but sometimes your ECUs can be a little finicky, and that's an expensive part. Same reason why they don't want you just unplugging your ECU with full battery power going through it. So there's power. I don't know if I still have power all hooked up. Something's happening. Something wants to happen. This battery's probably dead. What you got? Parts unlimited. 9 volts, sweet. So while that's charging, we're gonna clean up. Hopefully we'll get enough juice out of it to give us some key on power at least. Maybe even turning it through, obviously. But we're gonna go through the carbs and put some certain jets in there. I have a set of carbs for it. It has a bunch of different parts that I want to try to use on them. So we'll go through that real quick. Alright guys, without making this video too long, hope you guys enjoyed it. Couple of teachable moments going on inside of there, and next week we'll dive into more of the tuning aspect of the carburetors that we're going to throw on this thing. Make sure we get our ignition timing right and actually diagnose a problem that I run into on the point that's there, and hopefully hear this thing run for the first time since probably the 70s or 80s. So if you like this type of content, let me know. Comment below. When I do series or mini series like these, I get to kind of apply everything that I've been teaching into one aspect, and I think it's kind of cool. Plus it allows me to get some work done. And before you go, don't forget to hit that link in the description, take you to that free maintenance course to hopefully help a few of you out. Until next time, Cody from Motorcycle MD, bringing you guys some quality tips and tricks for your next build or your daily rider. See you next time. Later.